why fight it? Like, hello, are you here to debate?
Yes.
All right. Can I just get your name, age, and pronouns?
Sure. Name's Adam. Age 27. Pronoun, I guess you can say he.
Okay. Adam,
If
what?
you subscribe to that crap.
Well, you also subscribe to it.
No, I think it's just kind of a infiltration by the Frankfurt School of Thought to get everybody to overgeneralize these things. So sure, go ahead.
If that's the case, why do you keep using pronouns when you talk to me?
I mean, it's a product of the time. The Overton window has shifted so far left. Everybody's just beholden to this crap ideology. But give it time. It'll swing in the right direction. It's already happening. Thankfully.
You just used another pronoun in that sentence. I'm fine if you don't believe in pronouns, just don't use them for the rest of the call. All right? That works fine for me.
No, you won't police my language. Nice try, though.
That's another pronoun.
Yeah.
Well, what is it? Do you believe in pronouns or do you not believe in
semantics.
pronouns?
I could battle the stuff you got.
Well, it's not battling semantics. You specifically said that you don't believe in them, so why do you keep using them?
I didn't say I didn't believe in that. I just said if we want to go and play that crap game.
Which implies that you don't do pronouns. You don't believe in pronouns. We know it. We know that
words can have implications. I don't think you can make that implication.
Okay, so if you do have pronouns, what was your issue? Why did you put up contentions to me asking them?
Because I'm talking about more the aura. Everything that the left encapsulates is just a ridiculous fallacy.
You were just being a baby. Okay, sure, that's fine. That's just
you want to say that,
I figured. Well, yeah, 100%. Yeah, you absolutely were. Anyway, what topic did you actually want to debate on the board?
I mean, let's start with how the trans identity movement kind of just deludes young people and caters to people with gender dysphoria and sachets the false thought that they're lacking reproductive rights or they're lacking care for their mental illness. Let's go there.
Okay, so first of all, super loading your opening with a lot of presuppositions, but sure. What is the trans identity movement specifically? Like, what is that?
I would say everything the left appeals to groom and bring in a bunch of young people who are confused about their gender identity and posits forth the idea that gender affirming care is having them put on hormones and fucking mutilate themselves.
Great. So that really wasn't an answer. That was pretty vague, right? Because
that's not pretty vague. I don't know how.
I'm sorry. I let you speak. Are you gonna respect that, or
yeah, continue?
Do you have impulse control?
I have impulse control.
Okay,
I'm
great.
White.
Phenomenal. So act like it. All right.
Sure thing, pal.
Beautiful. So, are there trans adults? Like, are there adults who are trans?
Unfortunately, yeah, they're rising in population.
Are adults who are trans part of the trans identity movement?
I guess you can say that.
Okay, because all your explanation of the concept is that it's a way that affects children. But if there are adults who are trans, some of them who never interact with children at all, how does this affect children in the trans identity movement, quote unquote?
Because they have the largest platform to broadcast to children and young people, and they lure in young people by, openly universalizing everything and pretending that, trans identity is this thing that was commonplace in ancient history, and it's this thing that should be posited forth to change the family unit, the structure of individuality. We need all kids to be questioning absolutely everything and not have dogma. It just needs to go away.
Okay, cool.
So I think when they have this large platform, they just corrupt and pervert young people, and it's just kind of sickening to see.
Which transgender person has the largest platform?
I mean, there's plenty.
Who?
You have, it started really like I said, it's coming from French philosophers from the Frankfurt School of
I don't
Thought
care about
era. So that's when it was
philosophers. I care
positive
about the people with the
before.
large platforms, not philosophers.
That's why during
Oh, can you
Weimar
answer the question?
Germany, when the Germans revolted, they started book burning. It's because it's all this crazy books about changing genders and
Okay, so
sex
can you answer the
science.
question that I actually asked you?
John Money experience. You know about John Money?
Can you answer the question I actually asked you?
It sounds like you don't know about it.
Can you answer the question I actually asked you?
I mean, what trans broadcaster has the largest audience?
Well, you made the assumption or the assertion.
I'm
Sorry,
not
you
making
made
the assumption. It's a real thing.
I changed the word to assertion. I
The
changed
left
the
just
word
likes
to
to
assertion.
sashay around and
Did you
pretend
hear
it's
me
not a
change
thing.
the
and
word to
just,
assertion, or are you just not listening today? Put your listening
I'm
ears on.
listening.
Put your listening ears on. You made the assertion that trans people have the largest platform that goes after kids, specifically in terms of the ideology. And I asked you to name me the trans person you're speaking about, or trans creators with that large platform that goes after children. You could not do this. Is this something you can do? Or are you going to move on to or do we want to move on to a different question?
What's that girl's name? Illuminati, the one with the pyramid head, like PNG tuber, those types of people, and bread tubers such as yourself.
How many
subs
do they have?
You may not identify yourself as part of being trans, but you posit forth that this is stuff that they should entertain.
How many subs
What's
do
that?
they have? How many subscribers do they have?
At least over 800,000, and I mean, there's many more.
Okay. And
in that era.
Okay, great.
You know?
So you're saying that 800,000 subs? That's like that's too big of a reach. That's too big of a reach.
Fucking gerrymandering bullshit.
What is gerrymandering?
Something you're doing.
What is gerrymandering, stupid? I don't think you know what that word means. I think you just used a word. Yes, I think you just used a word.
We're getting a little.
I think yes, because I think you just used a word. I think you just used a word that you don't know what it means, and I want to demonstrate to the audience that you don't know what that word means. So, what is gerrymandering? What is the definition of gerrymandering?
Let me use my leftist tactic and pull up ChatGPT right quick.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna just put a question dodge counter of 2 because you don't know the answer to what gerrymandering is.
Okay. What's the next topic you want to debate?
Well, you haven't given an actual relevant argument to this topic yet. You're just saying platitudes. You're not actually making an argument.
Coming from
You're
the
not
left,
making
that's hilarious. Talking about platitudes.
Yeah, I can provide an argument. You can't. You're just saying things.
Okay, let's hear the well. Let's say that I answered that in good faith.
Why?
In that last question you asked, what else were you gonna say?
I love that we have to pretend you answered in good faith because even you recognize that you didn't.
I mean, that's what the left does. I'm playing your same tactics, bozo.
Except, one, I haven't been asked a question, and any question that I'm asked, I'm going to answer. Whereas you, on the question dodge counter I have on screen, you're already at 2. We can keep going. Well, actually, it would be 3 because you can't tell me what gerrymandering is. Do you want to continue?
I want to continue. Let's keep going.
Great. Let's continue. What does it mean to be transgender?
It means that you subscribe to an ideology first and not human biological science.
Great. I'm going to ask the question again because we're at 3 times for question dodge. What does it mean to be transgender? There is a recognized definition of this word that's been recognized by the American Psychological Association. It's been recognized in neuroscience and biology and sociology.
Which neuroscientist?
What does it mean? What does it mean to be which neuroscientist is a really stupid question when I'm saying that a science in and of itself has recognized this to be a thing that exists.
You're dodging the question, man.
It's not a question dodge because I was asking you the question first and foremost. But if the question doesn't make sense, there's no reason to answer it. So I'm going to ask you again, what does it mean to be transgender? Do you know?
It means that a person believes that they are the opposite gender, or they believe that they have an extra Y or an extra X chromosome.
No.
When they were born, when they were assigned a different gender at birth, they don't feel comfortable the gender they were born with.
Yeah, so
typically.
I wouldn't even describe
So
it
it's
as
like
that. I'll
one
give
of
you
those
the I'll
things
give you
where
the
it's a very
scientific
open-ended question.
I'll give you the scientific definition because I think that it's not an open-ended question. It's actually a pretty straightforward question, not an open-ended one. To be
Okay,
transgender
pull
means
up your
that
Google
you're
Gemini and tell me the official answer on that one.
I don't need to pull up Google Gemini to know what it means to be transgender. It means that your gender identity does not align with the sex that you were assigned and or observed at birth. Do you recognize this to be a condition of the human
Basically, just a
of the human
rewording
hold
of what
on.
I said.
It's not a rewording of what you said at all. Do you understand this to be a condition of humans? I won't even say condition. Do you understand this to be something that humans can experience? Can humans have a gender identity that is different from the sex that they were observed at birth?
I think that it is a neurological disorder.
Didn't answer my question. So
In a
question dodge
nature, it
counter
was the
four.
same sense. You
Four.
know,
Question dodge
well,
counter
they
four.
tend to display improper traits of their assigned gender or sex.
Question dodge counter four. I'm going to ask the question again.
I
Is
mean,
it
I
the
answered it
case?
pretty
Is it the
honestly
case?
there.
Is it the case that some humans will have a gender identity that is not aligned with their observed sex at birth? Yes or no?
That's a thing, but it was
Oh, okay, so
like
it is true. Great,
it
thank you.
subverted science.
Jesus Christ, I'm just really, like getting you to answer anything is like fucking pulling teeth. So now that we know that it is possible for humans to have a gender identity that is differing from their sex at birth, is this having this gender incongruence and incongruence with your gender identity and your sex, is this predicated and based upon some sort of neurological mental illness of any kind? Yes or no?
Yes.
And what do you base that off of?
I base that off of before the booming influence of the Frankfurt School of Thought that this was unheard of, and there was never a ploy to universalize language and universalize gender identity and have all these, you know, things that you have to question the very foundation of human biology to the
Okay, so
fact that
you base there being
the
an
new
issue.
science is just, we
Yep.
should take it as word law and
Yep. You
not
base it off of nothing.
predicate all of our instances off
You used a lot of words there to say that
foundations
you
of
base it
science.
off of nothing. You used a lot of words to say you base it off of nothing. Now, when I base a
But
decision
that's what the left does.
no, I'm going to stop you right there. When I make a decision about whether something is going to exist or not exist and what the causes of this may be, I'm going to use it based on evidence. So, my evidence for gender incongruence not being based on any type of psychiatric disorder of any kind is going to be the American Psychological Association, who literally categorizes psychological illnesses, psychological disorders. And currently,
How many
based
conflict
on,
of interest statements do they have on that?
was I finished? That's what I thought. Based on the American Psychological Association, they have said, and I quote, there are no studies indicating that psychiatric illness causes gender dysphoria as a consistent condition over time. So, like,
So what's that sourced from?
the American Psychological Association's website. And then they have a bunch of reference materials at the end. This one is specifically the Diagnostic and Statistic Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th edition, which is the DSM-5, which tells us what is or is not a mental disorder based upon
What year was
the
that?
relevant
What
science.
year did they cement that as being part of the DSM?
The DSM-5 changes constantly because our evidence around mental health conditions changes constantly. Are you saying that because science changes and that science may change over time, that the old science is always correct? This would be a really stupid assertion if you make it.
I think there's a scientism cult that is currently a part of the establishment.
Prove
so
that.
the establishment decides that we should put all these left-leaning studies and institutes in place to, you know, really change up. Am I finished? Oh,
that's so interesting. Did you know that?
What's it say under the?
Did you know that doctors who don't agree?
Conflict of interest statement.
Did you know
What's
that doctors?
the conflict of interest statement?
First of all, there is no conflict of interest statement in the DSM-5.
I bet there is.
Have you ever read the DSM-5? Have you ever opened that book?
I'm a leftist. I've read all of them. Every single one. I read it all.
Every single what? I'm asking about one book.
Every diagnostic and statistical manual of mental disorders, you know.
Okay, great. I love
Because
that
I'm
you
sure
have to
the left
Here's
loves
what's funny
parading
to me.
around that
Here's what's funny to me.
they
Here's what's
read
funny to
every
me.
single one of these things, but they
Here's
don't.
what's funny to me. You're putting on a performance, and typically that happens when someone starts losing the debate. So if you want to continue performing, you can do that elsewhere, or we can continue having the debate here. You're saying that the left has changed these things, blah, 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 blah. The people who wrote the part of the DSM-5 on specifically on sexual disorders, which falls in line with where gender dysphoria sits in the DSM-5, are all of them pro-trans individuals? Are all of them pro-trans doctors?
I'd say the majority now are.
Incorrect. You would be wrong. There are doctors who wrote in this section who have agreed with and put in line with what the section do that disagree with being trans, that are for conversion therapy. You would know this if you read the book, but you didn't. You know how I know you didn't? Because you didn't know that. Do you want to admit that you're just going off of assumptions, that you have no actual evidence for your claims? You're just making them?
No, I have evidence for my claims, but
Great. What's the
they're
evidence?
more so in line of ancient history.
What is the evidence? Ancient history is not evidence. Saying that this didn't exist in ancient history is not evidence.
A fallacy.
That's not a fallacy. You would actually be the one using the fallacy. It would be a what is it? A naturalistic fallacy at that point? Or no, and it's an appeal to tradition. It's an appeal to tradition fallacy. It's saying that because this thing didn't exist at this time, it can exist now. You're quite literally making the fallacy. Do you want to admit that you're doing a fallacy now, or do you want to? What are we going to do?
We can both admit we're doing a fallacy.
What fallacy am I using?
We can be brothers in fallacies.
What is the fallacy I'm using? Be specific.
You're using the gay retard fallacy.
Okay. You're gonna keep crashing out then?
Crashing out? Does this sound like crashing out?
Yes, it does. Actually, it sounds like you can't handle the debate.
I'm not the one with a face diaper going out blocking traffic.
It sounds like you can't.
Public nuisance.
We're not. None of us are talking about.
Going
That's not what we're
online
talking
on
about.
YouTube live streams.
None of us are talking about masks. You're just pivoting.
Ever.
You're just pivoting because now you have nothing for the argument. So because you have nothing for the argument, all you're doing now is deciding. Thank you, chat. Thank you for proving my point. Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, man. I'm going to leave you off with this one. Hitler did nothing wrong, and you're going to face the firing squad one day, pal.
Can I tell chat your number? I'm going to call him back. Fuck out of here with this bullshit. What's up, everybody? Thanks for watching this video, and I want to give a special shout out to my YouTube members. Their names are on the side. Membership starts at $2.99 a month, and you get early access to videos, exclusive members-only videos, and access to the Red Mirror Media Discord server. Thank you again to my members, and thanks for watching.